Hello class 7th. Let's revise lesson number 8 in history. Then we will revise lesson number 2 in civics. Sufism and Bhakti movements. Both the Hindus and Muslims had their own rich cultural heritage and both were proud of the same. So, both Islam and Hinduism retained their respective identities. But when both the Hindus and Muslims lived together and mixed with each other in different walks of life, it was impossible for both of them to remain uninfluenced by each other's culture mutually as a natural course. In fact, there was much in both the faiths and cultures to offer and receive. Some basic ideas of Islam, like the unity and oneness of God and the brotherhood of man, etc., made a deep appeal to Indian thinkers and reformers of the period. Likewise, the spirit of tolerance and liberal attitude of Hindus created the atmosphere of trust for the Muslims towards Hindus. All these gave rise to new ideas in the form of the Sufi movement in Muslim and Bhakti movement among Hindus. Sufis. Who were Sufis? Sufis were Muslim saints who believed in equality and brotherhood of man. Doctrines or principles of Sufism or teachings of Sufism. God is one and all powerful, all men are his children. To love mankind is to love God, so everyone should love humanity. They all are given in book. Okay? Teachings of Sufism. They all are given. One question is there. Dargah Sharif. What is the importance of Dargah Sharif? Dargah Sharif in Ajmer is probably the second most important pilgrimage after Mecca and Medina for the Muslims of South Asia. Sharif, Ajmer, Rajasthan. Bhakti cult was a reform movement in Hinduism in which emphasis was laid in total devotion to God. This means total surrender to personal God without regard of caste, creed and color. Some Bhakti saints were Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and Madhavacharya. Saints like Namdeva, Ramananda, Gyaneshwara, Vallabhacharya, Kabir, Tulsidas, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Mahadevi, Yakka, Lal De and Mirabai. These were some Bhakti saints. Main principles of Bhakti cult. God is one and must be worshipped with love and devotion. Everyone can attain salvation through bhakti or devotion to God. The teachings of the main principles of the Bhakti cult. Now, Kabir, he was born in 1398 AD at Banaras. Okay, and he was brought up by Muslim weaver named Nima and Niru. Kabir had a spiritual bent of mind from his early childhood. Kabir was a gifted natural poet. His dohas or couplets are full of ideas and vivid images. Main teachings of Kabir. The main teachings of Kabir: all men are equal in the eyes of God, he declared. He condemned caste system. He discarded caste system. He was opposed to the supremacy of the Brahmins and the Mullah. He denounced idol worship, meaningless rituals, and pilgrimages to holy places. All religions are equal. Ram or Rahim, temples or mosques are the same. These are the main teachings of Kabir. The followers of Kabir were called Kabir Panthis. Are called the followers of Kabir are called Kabir Panthis. Sant Dhaneshwar was one of the greatest saints of Maharashtra. He was blessed with divine knowledge and showed sign of greatness from his childhood. At the early age of 15, he wrote a beautiful commentary in Marathi on the Bhagavad Gita called the Dhyaneshwari. And then he also wrote Amritnubhava and Bhavat Deepika in Marathi. Who sent Dhyaneshwar? He wrote Amritanubhava and Bhavat Deepika. His followers belonged to all castes and his followers were known as Varkaris. But at a very early age he died. Sant Dhaneshwar passed away in 1296 at Alandi near Pune at the young age of 21. When he was just 21 years of age, he died. No other Indian saint won such great renown and fame in such a short span of life as did this great Maratha saint. Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He was born in a Khatri family of Talwandi, modern Nankana Sahib. He was anxious to bring different castes together, so he insisted on eating together in a common kitchen called langar. Teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji are compiled in a holy book called Adi Granth, which was later written in Gurmukhi. The holy book of the Sikh is known as Guru Granth Sahib. Who was Shankaracharya and what was his role in Hinduism? Adi Shankaracharya was one of the greatest philosophers of India. He founded the Advaita Vedanta school of Hinduism. Advaita Vedanta school of Hinduism. Adi Shankaracharya wholeheartedly believed in the concept of the Vedas. He believed in the concept of Vedas, but at the same time advocated against, it means he was against the rituals and religious practices that were over exaggerated. He established the importance of monastic life. As sanctioned in the Upanishads and Brahma Sutra. He is reputed to have founded 4 maths. Maths means he introduced the Paketana form of worship. The simultaneous worship of 5 deities. They are Ganesh, Surya, Vishnu, Shiva and Devi. Adi Granth, the original book of the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev. Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikh, is known as Guru Granth Sahib. Now, lesson number 2. directive principles of state policy. Welfare state. What is welfare state? Welfare state is a concept of government in which the state plays a key role in the protection and promotion of the economic and social being citizen. When India attained independence, it had innumerable problems and challenges. To fight against these problems, our constitution makers thought and decided that India would be a welfare state. Directive principles are contained in part 4 of our constitution. These are directive principles because they are meant to be directives or instructions to the government at all levels of India. They are the instructions to the government in all levels of India. Okay, which they are instructions and which has to be followed by our government. Okay, manifesto. The meaning of manifesto: written statement of the beliefs, aims and policies of an organization, especially a political party. There are 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies. These are 6 fundamental rights. What are fundamental rights? Those elementary rights of individuals which are necessary for the development of their facilities. Classification of directive principles. Directive principles are classified: economic principles, economic or socialist principle, Gandhian principles, protection of environment and monuments, principles relating to justice and administration, principles relating to international peace and security. While doing, if in question, you have to write, state any one Gandhian principle related to directive principle of state policy. Gandhian principle. If you have to write Gandhian principle, you will write from here any one principle from this. From Gandhian principle, there are 5 principles are given. You have to write one principle from there. Okay. If in question 4 directive principles of state policy which promote economic equality, you will write principles from economic equality. Principles. All these principles are given from for economic equality or economic or socialist. Okay, you will write any 4 principle from there. Okay. Why directive principles are important? Why directive principles are important? Importance of directive principles. Directive principles are a pledge of the fathers of the Constitution to the people of India. They are pledge. Directive principles are pledge. They provide an outline of the program to establish a welfare state. They provide a guideline to the government in its policies and laws. Also, directive principles provide a yardstick to measure the performance of the government. They are the measures to provide the 2 most important aspects of democracy, that is social and economic democracy. They are a useful supplement to the fundamental rights. That's all for the day. Do well in exam. Best of luck. Bye bye.